extend a cheerful welcome to you all for the third day of AICTE-sponsored online HTTP on Tableau data visualization tool for researchers. First session will be on business intelligence tools. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our resource person, Mr. Kias Hanifa, to the gathering. Our resource person, Mr. Kias Hanifa, is a tech-savvy and a passionate computer professional. Mr. Kias Hanifa is the Chief Technology Officer at Fonicom Limited and Raisa Ticket, Malta. Mr. Hanifa started his career as a customer support in 1998, and now, with over 22 years of experience, he has no field left. He is extensively experienced in unified communications, security, networking, cloud, big data, and analytics. His area of expertise includes networking design and implementation, product design and development, strategic technology planning, vendor management, leadership and supervision, project management, enterprise data management, building Linux tools. His journey from a customer support to Chief Technology Officer is truly remarkable and an inspiration to all of us. We are honored by your presence, sir. I request our resource person, Mr. Kias Hanifa, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the warm introduction. Thank you. And again, I thank for giving the opportunity again for a wonderful session. Thank you. Do you hear me now or?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay, do you see my screen, please?
Screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So I welcome everyone again for this wonderful session on data analytics, which is one of the hot topics and the trending topics right now. Right now, we are in the time of crisis and uncertainty, which creates a lot of options and unique opportunities for both who are open-minded and pragmatic. That's what I would always say. So any crisis will always teach you a lot of lessons. Now, this COVID-19 is also not an exception. It has strengthened the value proposition of data as we realize that we are flying in the dark and had to become quickly and data insight driven. So what happens is this particular COVID-19 has taught us a lot in the pandemic. I mean, I would say that we have realized how data is really useful in a lot of things to come across. So what this data has, what this COVID has taught us, and what we have already extrapolated on those values. See, right now, a lot of visual analytics are happening around the world for tracking the COVID patients and the hospitalization, the number of cases. So where visual analytics with the geo mapping is used. This is one big example of how data is right now utilized in a big way. Then there is a scenario planning. I would say the scenario planning is this. Scenario planning is we are able to model, forecast, analyze, predict our resources based on the data which we have got in the last 6 months. So visually we're able to geo map all the cases across the world. That is one thing. This is also a visual example of visual analytics. Then we are able to plan based on the analytics, what we have to do. For example, how we can forecast things, how we can analyze things, how we can do a graph analysis, how we can simulate things, and how we can do a predictive analysis. So this is the second, this helps us in the scenario planning of this particular crisis. Then third one is, right now we are seeing a lot of dashboards across the world, government, private, corporate, everyone is doing dashboards for the number of employees who come in, for the number of patients, for the number of death cases, everything. There is a dashboard utilizing the geospatial data. So, and also the supply chain. So how these things we have learned in the crisis to build a more sophisticated way of displaying data in a much efficient way. So this was one of the biggest outcomes of data analytics and the business intelligence. See, you would see that this we are seeing daily. So it is, we are not away from any analytics or anything like that. We are part of it now. We see a lot of data going around, and even for the telehealth, for example, like how to take care of the home-based care and monitoring and reduce the hospital load, we are using telehealth. For that also, now this particular data has become a very big boom, and for us to take the right direction. So this crisis, what we have learned, that data is playing a very big role in planning, in analyzing and building dashboards, and even to reduce and plan the workloads in, especially in healthcare and hospitality industries and a lot of things. So this is something I would say that we were blessed with this particular situation of data analytics. So how this data was split across into multiple things. See, I think my screen is small. 1 second. See, I would separate the data. I would divide data into three: data engineering, business analytics, and data science. So, what is data engineering? What the engineers do on that? We have databases. We have data warehouse. It could be located on premise or it could be on the cloud. So what happens is this particular data takes into a shape. So this, I would say that even the crisis data, what we have across the globe, we have data from each and every country, every state, every city, all those things. We have taken the data and it's in a database form. It could be the data warehouse, either on premise or on cloud. You can do your dashboards. On this, what we do is we apply our statistics and mathematics as a business analytics model to do a business intelligence and visualization of the data. That is what I told you in the previous slide, that we have displayed the data in a more visualized form with a geospatial data, with geo mapping, and categorized it, modelized. These things are all done in the business analytics area with the business intelligence tools, with the statistics and mathematics. So this was something done with the data which we derived. But what we can do as a science, we can do predictions. We can do deep learning out of it with tools like Python or R. But here in business analytics, we are using tools like Tableau or Power BI or whatever. So this is the way we see data split across into three different segments of how data from a data engineering model got into a business analytics version. Then later on, it could be predicted into a data science model. So this is how data is split across into multiple segments. So in the crisis model, we learned a lot of things, and how this process is done is, this is the phrase. We are just now taking business intelligence as a part of the whole program, but the data is split across into multiple ways and multiple pipelines. So this is the way I would say that the data is taken care. Now there was a, what you call, while I was talking, I said that data. So what happens is, as Neelie Kroes, one of the in the European Commission, there was a conference, and he said that data is becoming the new oil, which is true, because we are seeing with a use case right now. even with the pandemic, with the COVID case, we are able to extrapolate value with all the data which is available. We are able to create target recommendations. We are converting dull statistics into usable insights. We are optimizing the customer experience by building interactive platforms. For example, I would say like anyone can call a call center and tell them that they are affected by they have some symptoms of COVID. They are able to interact to the customer support, and this interactive platform was also again a part of the how data is used. Then, as I said, that visualization, analyze, repackage, and relabel of data. This was also happening with the data. And we always get into data-driven strategies, and we know that there is always a consistent flow of data, and we all operate on a database strategy. So how the data is the new oil. Data is the new oil, I would say, because we have taken data, we have visualized it, we have modeled it, we have forecasted it, we have predicted it, we have made some business decisions, we have made some strategic decisions to reduce the cases, to take care of the cases and all. So this becomes the new way of seeing data as a new oil. So least but not the best, but Google in the beginning, it was a search engine company, like I would say. But now what they have done is they are an ad company. They can target you ads. They were able to target ads because they had a lot of data. They know what you are searching for. They can push data. They can push ads based on your preferences. So this was something possible with the data which was captured by your search engine, which is with the searches you have done in the past or recently. So this is the way Google got into a very big company using data. So that is why now this particular data is becoming the new oil. Oil in the beginning, I would say that how oil changed the market, the whole world is, it was when the combustion engine was invented, where the central heating, power generation, plastics were all done. Oil became fueled the economic force that changed the people lived and worked. Once you know how and why the market shifts, you will understand the data significance and how it became asset for the majority of firms to facilitate accurate business decisions. So this was the way oil changed, because oil changed the global market, oil changed the global economy when once it was discovered and the combustion engine was invented in the first phase. Today, data is fueling a very big change. It impacts not only high-tech companies, but also high-profile companies, but old school, small companies, even tea shops, even big shopping malls. All those things, they are converting into a data-driven strategy, because either it could be electronics manufacturers, or it could be a customer platform, or it could be a bank. All those things, all those companies now, right now, they are targeting on data as a fuel, because it gives you a lot of emphasis and a lot of insights of what's going on. For example, banks are right now moving from transaction services to analyze your spending patterns, because right now they are able to tell you, okay, you can invest in mutual funds, you can invest in e-gold, or you can invest in SIP. All those things they are able to tell based on your spending patterns and your savings. So this is something now bank is upselling as a service, which is again possible with the business intelligence tools. So business intelligence tools is playing a biggest role in the way data is shaped. See how there is a lot of changes happening across the globe from few decades. We have seen a lot of changes, especially from the TV generation, where we used to see ads and we used to focus on what do you call the products which we want to buy in the beginning. But now then later on it changed to the Nintendo generation, where we started to see the web-based news, the RSS feeds, then get some decisions out of it. But now, right now, we are in a different mode. We try to, if you want to shortlist a product, what we do is we check for reviews, we check for tweets, we check for posts, we check for the instant messaging. So like the generation has totally changed from the newspapers to the Nintendos, to the TV, from the TV, to the more of a online tweeting, sentiment analysis, reviews, instant messaging, all those kind of things. So this change again was a benefit which we derived of the data analytics of the data as a soil, considering data as a soil. And with the data as a soil, we are using a software. We are using an application called the business BI tools to derive value out of it. So this is how the change has happened in the likelihood that how we can split into multiple ways. So where are these areas? You would have seen a lot of areas now. As I recently told you as an example of the financial services or the banking, now I would go on a segment basis. How data and the business intelligence tools are in handy for these purposes. In retail industry, in healthcare, in financial services, in gaming industry, in the manufacturing industry, in the public sector. So in the retail industry, they were able to forecast the demands, the supply and the demand based on the previous analytics, the previous data. So this was something possible with the data in hand. The retail search, you can predict what will be the forecast, or what will be the demand on a particular day, whether it could be a holiday, it could be a Christmas, or it is a Boxing Day, or whatever. Based on that, you can project some sales, and accordingly you can do stock some items on your online stores or in your stock market or whatever for the retail searches. Then, for example, you can recommend a lot of products for your customers based on their previous searches, previous purchase history, and all those things were able to be done in the retail industry. And the last but not the least, the inventory optimization. You need not dump products which will not be used. Right now, you could see like we are going into the inventory optimization is towards more of food products, then PPEs, like the sanitizers, then the mask. These things, I would say that this is becoming of an higher importance. So you can inventory get an optimization value, so that like they can always see that where to focus on the inventory rather than dumping unwanted product. So retail industry as a whole has changed. So now the shopping malls, all the big markets, they are able to do a efficient way of calculations in their business sales, to do much more forecasted sales. So this is what is happening in the retail industry. The healthcare, which we have seen in the last 6 months, was a big impact. Now we are able to do a triage. So we can say who can be treated remotely, who can be consulted online, who can be hospitalized. This with the telehealth or a virtual care, we could say based on their previous history. Again, data is playing the role. Interoperability accelerator. So for example, who needs an immediate help? All this kind of forecasting, and the biomedical data analytics, for example, who needs for example, like the clinical trials, which needs for finding the vaccine or whatever it is. Again, data is used in through the business intelligence tool. So healthcare, we have seen retail, healthcare right now are in the biggest demand of the data, where they are trying to make big use of it. This is the way analytics is in use. Then financial services, which they have been using data in a very big way these days. So first of all, the anti-money laundering, they were able to say whose account is what, whether you're getting from black money or whether it is some illegal transaction. They are able to tell you with the anti-money laundering rules. Then you know your customer. This has been happening the last 6 years or 5 years, where all the data is done properly and cleaned, so that like there is no malpractices. Then lending doc processing. So for example, when you're going for a loan, so what happens is the what you call the analysis is very easy. The analysis is very easy, so that your processing is fast, much more faster when compared to the previous days. So then they were also able to do a risk analysis based on your pay history, your pay slips, your previous employment, your current employment, your savings, your whatever you have, based on the data. So again, financial services are using your data in a more efficient way to do lot of financial helps and financial services. So this is where I would say that again the business intelligence tools are used. So the tool may differ. Everyone has their own preferences. They can use whatever Power BI or Tableau or whatever you want. But the end result is same. So things are made much more easy compared to the old paper scenario. Then in the gaming industry, what happens is this. Today, gaming is one of the biggest industries. Today, we have around 2.3 billion users playing games. And this is forecasted to be 3.3 billion in 2030. So this is the media and gaming entertainment industry is one of the biggest markets. Now, you would have seen platforms of like Steam or Agons or Ubisoft. All those kind of people are concentrating more on the gaming platform, how to scale, and how to see what are the preferences a user has on the gaming industry. So how the game can be much more optimized in a very efficient way. Again, data plays a much more effective way, because when you play games, you send a lot of data, you give a lot of data. With the data, I can tell you, okay, like this particular region has much more traffic in this time. This particular region has less traffic this time. So I can scale up my resources based on that particular region. So again, data is making a bigger change. So the gaming industry right now is in a biggest boom even after the COVID-19, because people are trying to use gaming as one of the biggest entertainment industry for killing their stress. So I would say that game servers are what you call scaling up in a very massive way, for which data is becoming a very necessary tool. Then the manufacturing industry, they are using the data in a much more way to optimize everything, their adaptive controls, and they are able to inspect their workflow, and they were able to always see an optimization of their logistics, their delivery, and their delay, everything, their forecast, everything could be done on the industrial and manufacturing side based on the data. So you would have, like, everywhere you see a big drift. There is a big drift because the data is much more intelligent, because they say that, okay, what we have to do with this 50 years of data, how we can make it into a much more regular shape, what we can do, how we can profit out of it. So this is where the oil, I would say data is the oil now. This is where the business change, because the technological and the societal change turned business intelligence into the data consumers and into becoming an asset. I would say that the first part, I would say, okay, data is the change, the technological change has done into more of a data asset. The data is becoming an asset, so that we don't see technology as a part, but rather than it is becoming a business in between. So that is where the way I say data. Sorry. So in the industrial, we see that how the data is becoming an asset, a bigger business asset. Then public sector is always there. Like even the government or whatever, they are using for a lot of health platforms, for the e-governance, in social safety, all those things. Again, data is becoming a major role. So although where do you see this business intelligence, in which areas? So I'm just giving only 6 areas as a, what do you call, as a sample: in the retail or healthcare or financial services, in the gaming or industrial or public sector. I'm just giving just a few parts as a, what do you call, as a business asset where I could see. But there is much more things are happening in this world, like where we can use data in a much augmented way. So this is the way I would say data as a bigger tool. See, I want to just quote a smart a phrase from one of the biggest businessmen in the world, from Amazon, Jeff Bezos, on smart decision. The smartest people are constantly revising their understanding, reconsidering a problem they thought they had already solved. They're open to new points of view, new information, new ideas, contradictions, and challenges to their own way of thinking. So this is one of the, what do you call, Amazon's CEO or whatever, like it was one of the recent sentences from him, like where he says that smart decisions, how smart people make decisions. And Amazon by itself, they do a lot of business with data, because with Amazon, you would have seen they started as a, what do you call, a bookstore, online bookstore, but now they have a global presence in a lot of industries when compared to cloud business, in retail business, in online business, in networking business, whatever you call, they are there. So Amazon. So, but what was the key for that? They were constantly looking into data and see what they can derive out of it, and that is the way they say that the smartest people are constantly revising their understanding, reconsidering a problem they thought they already solved. So for example, today you say that, okay, cloud is the answer for this now, or cloud computing is the answer for this. Tomorrow you say that confidential computing. Now, because what happens is right now cloud computing is taking its new form called confidential computing. So this is because the decision of yesterday is becoming a new decision today, because I'm reconsidering, because the cloud computing was a value yesterday, but now I feel that there are some from pros and cons on it. Now I'm confident changing myself to confidential computing. So this is where we revise our understanding or to a problem which we have already solved, and for which plays the key factor is the data. So data is becoming the biggest element in reconsidering a problem for the solutions which we already have. So that is where we are making the smart decisions. So what is again I'm coming to now your core of the subject, business intelligence. What is business intelligence again? As Jeff Bezos or whatever you are saying, how analytics is used, or how analytics is used in multiple industries, and how it has helped the COVID. You are checking, learning what your data truly holds. That is what you're doing. That is what. So you are collected data for the last 50 years or 60 years, and you are trying to learn from what your data truly holds. And for example, the next step is you are doing a data analysis for the data analysis, because you are giving information, you are giving dull statistics into an insight or a visualized data for the non-data analysis, because everyone may not be aware of how to use the data. You can be a business scientist, sorry, a data scientist. You can be a visualization specialist or whatever. You can do analysis of the data and give it to the business people who require for strategic decisions. So that is where the business decision comes. You are performing the analysis, as I said, like the data science, data engineering, business analytics. With all this kind of flow, you're converting data analysis into a non-data analysis, and then this you are beginning to the data, non-data, and this you are giving to the business decision makers. So Jeff Bezos, I would say, is a decision maker. He just sees the data. Okay, the sales of India is this much. The sales of US is this much. It was hit by this much of value. It can increase to this much value. We can predict this much value. We forecast this. You can project this. This kind of values which we derive out of data, you are giving to the chief decision makers, and this becomes a biggest transformation of the data into a business asset. So that is where data derives the market intelligence, and for which the software is an enabler always, because you can always do this with Excel or whatever, but when you're considering terabytes of data or exabyte of data, you will need a fantastic business tool, for doing this particular calculation and mathematics or whatever to make it in a greater form. So that is where business intelligence tools are used. So I would say that business intelligence is just a software or an enabler to give you what is going on, on the product, on your data. So some examples of Power BI tools I will give you. So Power BI and Excel, for example. So Power BI is one of the relatively newer business tools from Microsoft. Power BI, and it is known as a self-service. It is known as a self-service solution integrates seamlessly with other data sources such as Microsoft Excel, SQL Server. Our primary purpose is using Power BI will be to generate interactive dashboards, reports, and data sets for users. So we said BI, you are trying to truly learn from the hidden data. What we are using is you are using tools like Power BI and Excel. Excel is both are from Microsoft. Power BI is one of the new tools of Microsoft. It has its free version also. You can try it. And what happens is there is a data limitations on the free version, and it can connect to multiple resources, MySQL Server, and it can make you all the the data resources into various forms. So the data resources have the what are the major things we do is union, joins, cross database joins, blending. So these are the most common SQL functions which we use on our native tools. So union, joins, cross database, these are becoming cumbersome to maintain. So that is the reason cumbersome to write a code and whatever. So that is the reason we are using Power BI tools D3 or all. I'm getting into the step. Union. So what happens is union is the data sources are the same columns and will be stacked up on to one another, creating a longer table. So this you can do even on a MySQL, even on your native legacy tools or native RDBMS. But I would suggest that if you use a Power BI, it is much more efficient. D3 or whatever D3 is also known as data-driven documents is a JavaScript library known for its delivery of beautiful visualizations by manipulating documents based on data. So it is a JavaScript tool. So what happens is visualization is mostly on the web. So D3 is always mostly I would say is a data-driven. It's a data-driven visualization tool. Then RStudio. RStudio is a statistical programming language that produces beautiful graphics. I would say it is from the statistical community. It's an open source. It is from the statistical community. And it is very popular in the data science and the machine learning community recently. So RStudio is becoming very famous and is an open source tool. And you can do visualization. It has the ability to do visualizations, predictive analysis, and it can integrate to algorithms and forecasts. So RStudio is one of the, I would say, is a trending tool now. Then again, Python is also something like that. Python is considered a more traditional programming language, which is getting right now into more powerful analyzing and visualization of data. So Python is also the next step it is an open source tool. It's an open source language, I would say, which also can does the data science and what do you call visualization, and it has the ability to integrate right algorithms. It can integrate with a lot of data sources. That is this R3. See, so R and Python are more of a language. Click is another tool. I would say is a desktop tool which delivers visualization based on queries on your desktop. So it's also something similar to your Power BI. So that is you can also again trial it. Then Tableau is your whole core. Now you are trying to analyze more of what do you call Tableau as a software. Is a there I would say is again a business intelligence tool. It is a desktop tool. It is something similar to Click or Power BI, I would say. But what is advantage of Tableau is very lightweight. It's very lightweight, and you can install it, you can trial it, you can integrate MySQL or Excel data into it, and you can draw your visualizations, you can draw your unions, you can blend your data, you can join, you can cross database join. All those things are possible with Tableau, and it is all in a click, in few clicks. That is the beauty of Tableau, because Tableau has a fantastic GUI and UI compared to R or Python, where you have to work on a CLI. But Tableau is much more efficient as a tool for any beginner can easily learn visualization in few days. So that is the beauty of Tableau on Click, and I also say Click. So then the bigger giants like the Microsoft SQL Server, that is totally where now Microsoft is getting into a suite of products. They give you a lot of visualizations which comes with their products. SQL Server is a renowned database product. Now what they do is they give you some visualization tools, which is part of it. Again, it is very easy to use, and Microsoft SQL Server is done. Splunk is becoming more famous in the industry of logs. Logs in the sense, like for example, today when you are browsing, or when you are sending an email, or when you are doing an audit, you send lot of logs. There are a lot of logs on your web access, email access, Active Directory access, or whatever kind of, or your smart device access. All these logs can be aggregated into a one insight, that is through Splunk. So Splunk gives you more aggregation of your log data into a much more fine-grained insight, where you can take data out of it. I mean, insight out of it. So Splunk is becoming much more handy on more of the log industries. So where the firewall logs, we use Splunk for firewall logs, web logs, email logs, so audit logs, all those kind of stuff is done. This insight is done with Splunk. So everywhere, so for comparing from Power BI to Splunk, everyone has its own kind of advantages and disadvantages. And SAP is a bigger picture of their utility is much more bigger, and I just noted it as a tool, but it is a what you call is a very licensed product, and it is cumbersome to you and learn it. But compared to Tableau and Click or Power BI, they are very simple tools. Anyone can start any day, and they can become a master of it. So that is where these three tools, I would say, Tableau or Click or Power BI, becomes a market leader on these things. So these are the small introductions on the tools. How this business intelligence organization chart works. You are using the tools. As I said, that BI manager is there, the director is there, like he is able to, you're able to give the data scientist or the BI developer or visualization developer, analyst, or able to analyze in the matrix I have given you, like the data science, then business analytics, and the data engineering. Everyone has his own role on that matrix, and then gives you the organization chart to the BI manager, the director, who can derive value out of it. So this is more of an organization chart, how things work on the industries, So now the careers for most of the students, they focus on data scientist or BI developer or visualization developer based on this, based on based on expertise. I always say that, I always say, and I always guide that, try to always learn the business process on which you are trying to learn. Imagine that you are trying to do a healthcare visualization, or you are doing a industrial visualization, or you are doing an, but you be sure, if you are a data scientist or a BI developer or a visualization developer, whatever, you should know the business process out of it. If you don't know the business process, then it is very difficult to match certain things. So that is where I always say that data is there, your visualization is there, but if you miss the business process, you will not be able to get deeper insights on it or deep dive into it or do a deep learning out of it. So that is where you should always be on top of it, on doing the business process in a much more efficient way. So what this particular BI gives you, they give you discovery. You see the organization chart. So for the BI manager, what I'm going to give you, I'm going to the discovery, analysis, dashboards, reporting, and prediction. So this is simple. This is the simple way. Yes, sir. What's the question, please? Mr. Valatan. Valatan G.
Sir, I think by mistake, his hand has been raised, sir.
Oh, that's fine. All right. Okay. No problem. Okay, sorry, I continue. So what is the discovery, analysis, dashboards, reporting, and prediction? So business intelligence is a process of delivering actionable business
Okay.
decisions from
Now,
analytical.
coming to our topic for discussion now.
Sorry.
Sir, you please continue, sir. It's just an outside interruption.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's right. So business intelligence is the process of delivering actionable business decisions from analytic manipulations and presentation of data within the confines of the business environment. So that is why I say that the business environment is very important when you're doing a business intelligence. So you can able to, without knowing the business process, if you don't know whether they're in the retail industry, what is the process in the retail industry, or what's the healthcare industry, or what they're in the public sector. So if you don't know the core of the business environment, business intelligence become a failure. That is where I recommend. So when you're doing the smart decisions, when you're doing the business decisions from analytical manipulations and presentation data, try to confine to the business environment and the core idea, because otherwise you will not be able to do what you call the best out of it. So even though the what you call business intelligence works best with the intelligent logic and the data delivery or isolated to ensure a single source of truth. That is where. So the intelligent logic and the data delivery, your data delivery is always there, but the intelligent logic which you are trying to understand and make into a more deep insight is going to be the best outcome of the business intelligence. Otherwise it is nowhere, because just manipulating the data, just exploiting data is not going to take you anywhere. You are going to do the best out of it. You are going to do the best out of it by knowing as a data scientist what you can do. So that is where the logic works. See, everyone wants to minimize today the losses, the business losses, and maximize profits. So now what happens is the big data has revolutionized in the way how data is analyzed and data is stored. So this is becoming an efficient structure and revolutionizing. So the revolutionizing of the data, the big data, or whatever technology you call data science, data analytics, business intelligence, everything. So all those complicated process is becoming to the one goal is you have to maximize the profit and minimize the loss. So that is where the whole industry is drive towards it. So it could be anywhere, like it could be the operation, the business intelligence could be either could be a tea shop or a Fortune 500 company. Any successfully built report, dashboard, application that is delivering information to a user through a BUI tool must allow transparency between the numbers available in the data source and those appear in the final product. So you know how you are going to get the truth out of it, what you are going to hide from the data. All those things are done, but your numbers should match. So for example, whatever is in the data source, what those numbers should be on the transparent reporting. Otherwise you are making a bigger mistake, because when you're trying to predict with an algorithm, or when you're forecasting or modeling it, always count the numbers which were already and trace back to the original source, and try to do sampling, try to do all those modeling out of it with the sample numbers which is there, and try to do the prediction, and don't do a wronger assumption. So this is something which is very important as a business ethics on a business intelligence tool, because everyone can know you can't just throw data and get value out of it. Rather be more intelligent, get the more intelligent logic out of it, and do the insight. So that will help for anyone to do a much more decision on a business intelligence. So today you would see that the amount of data we have is in exabytes. This is for the last 10 years. This is the amount of data we have collected in the last 10 years. But what happens is this: we need a bigger platform to handle this. See, right now, now cloud is becoming a much more efficient tool, in efficient platform in handling data. Exactly, all those things are there. But right now we are talking on exabytes of data. What is the exabytes of data? Because the data engineering part, which is the most important, where your data warehouse is there. It could be on-prem or a cloud or whatever. You can use Hadoop or any big data or any big data architecture, but you need the infrastructure to handle it. So how this business platform infrastructure is handled? So for example, you can have your data anywhere. Now I told you those tools, BI, Tableau, or Power BI, or whatever. These are desktop tools, but these tools can connect to your business data anywhere or anytime. So that is the most efficient part of it, because you can have your desktop tools, but your data can reside in a data warehouse which is on a cloud, which is hosted on a cloud. It could be on Amazon or Google or Rackspace or Azure, wherever it can be. But when your data is there elsewhere, your tools can connect to your business anywhere, anytime. So that is where the BI on a cloud, it enables the cloud. Then also you can make real-time decisions. For example, you can connect these, or I mean, like you can connect to a real business case where you can say, for example, the live business cases, live COVID cases are this much, it is increasing. Like, you are making much more smarter decisions with the live cases, which is again possible with connecting from Power BI or Tableau or Click. Then these tools give you a very interactive experience for business executives, because they give you very colorful insights, because you see that the graphs, it could be a bar graph or a chat or a chart, whatever it is, you would be able to visualize in a much more colorful way. I would say that is the most attractive part of it. And this is something possible with Power BI or Tableau or whatever. Then you can go and search for much more deep dive into your data. Meaning, like, for example, if you are taking a time range or a date range of 1 month or 3 months, you can just go back and see for 3 years if it's available, or for the last 30 years if it is available. So you are able to navigate into it. So once you navigate into analyze data, you would see, for example, if you see that the last 6 months analysis of sales was this much, you should also go deep down into it and see on which particular month there was higher sales, or which particular month has a lower sales, what brought in much more sales, what dropped down the sales. These things can be intuitively accessed and navigated. So that is the beauty of it. Then you will be always able to do a smart search, like the Google search. Like, for example, if you are searching on an item and you see that, okay, this particular product has reduced sales, but you can say and check the stock, whether it is a stock problem, or whether it is a consumer problem, or whether it is the shelf problem, like it was not displayed in the shelf. So you are able to get the relevant information surrounding it. So these things, when you try to dig into the data, you will be able to much more efficiently handle data in a better way. That is where the cloud platform, now we use cloud tools, especially now, like even now, right now we are on the cloud. I mean, like, everyone is on the Zoom platform having the webinar or seminar. So this cloud now becoming more and more becoming a necessary platform for all our interactions, and BI is also enabling that, and it gives you the facility and interactivity, and can connectivity to your cloud platform. So you have no limitations. You have no limitations whether you are on-premise or on the cloud or on a hybrid platform. So that is where BI is becoming. BI is one of the a market tool which everyone needs. I would say, then again, the architecture, I would say that again, we are able to access the reports from our mobile devices, from our browsers, from your desktops or your tablets, or or it can be embedded into your web browsers or integrated into MS Office or corporate portal. So these are the end platforms or end devices, or where we see data, so we can browse through from mobile, we can just see from a web browser. Again, all those things, these are the end results. But what we are doing on it, we are seeing the virtualization of it, we are doing the dashboard of it, then we are doing the reporting of it. So all those things, these end results is easily accessible because of a BI tool. So how it works, if you look at the bottom layer, there is EDW, which is the SAP data, then in-memory platform like SAP HANA platform, unstructured data, it's like the social media messages, it could be log messages, tweets, reviews, these are the messages. Then your regular business messages, business tools like SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, JD Edward. Then your regular relational databases, Oracle, IBM, Microsoft SQL, MySQL Server, or Excel, or Microsoft OLAPs, or sorry, Microsoft AS or OLAPs. These are your data sources. As I told you, like, your data sources could be cloud or on-premise, or it could be from in-memory. So We are taking the consideration of an ERP platform, EDW platform, relational data, unstructured data, in-memory platforms. All those put together can be universally unified on a semantic layer with the business intelligence tool. So this is where the advantage of the BI lies, because this unifying the data and extrapolating the value out of it is the biggest advantage of the BI tool. It could be anywhere, it could be anything, but you could see this data is spread across into multiple sources, multiple versions. All those things can be put together as a, what you call, the way in a semantic layer, and then your data analysts, your data scientists work on the intelligent platform to create an agile visualization, dashboard, and reporting. So this is how the architecture works. So you need not see that one form of data is the only source, but multiple sources can be aggregated into a much more efficient way. So that is where the BI becomes a bigger tool, and it gives you the biggest benefit of decreasing the query time,
Sir?
identifying the key metrics, providing the analysis on the planning out of it, as I told you in the beginning, even for the COVID, how the planning were done, then the business making decisions. So that is how the BI as an architecture gives you reduced query time, because when you considering the multiple sources of data, putting together, and the amount of time it takes for the programmers or the data engineers to consolidate data, to clean the data, all those things. Again, even though it's an engineering process, like when it's done, the querying is much more reduced. And you can always see that the KPIs, the key performance indicators, are always checked, because without that you will not be able to analyze it. So I should know what is the KPI for my business, whether it is what you call customers, what kind of customers, what time they come in, so these are or again the KPI, which stocks gives me the better value, or which products gives me a better value, and analysis of it, whether what kind of profit margin I had, what is the stock I have. All those things can be done, and I can do a better business decisions, and whether to improve it or decrease the stock. All those things can be done with a simple BI tool. So this is where BI has its benefits. So we all started with a simple simple showcase of COVID as a learning, as a thing which we learned in a crisis, where we did a visual analytics, we did scenario planning, we did dashboards. Then even as a biggest outcome of it was the telehealth, for remote care, home care, and monitoring of patients who were isolated and quarantined. So all those things were done, and there is a lot of data involved, and a lot of analytics were involved from the public sector of the government, where they used data in a much more analytical way to do a scenario planning of modeling, forecasting, and predicting for resources and for the hospital, for everything. So this was one of the biggest use case I started. And this use case, if you see how data has become a big resource, I would say as a new oil, where it has made a society and a technological change among the consumers and the business makers. So data is seen as a biggest asset for the business, as a business asset. So this data, how it is done, it could be from multiple sources. It could be from Excel, ranging from Excel to Hadoop or SAP or ERP. All those things put together and aggregated and data engineered, and done business analytics with statistics and maths, and put into a definite form, and derive business decisions out of it. So this was happening, and the enabler was a business tool. So the business tool is nothing but the business intelligence tool. It could be Tableau or a Click or a Power BI or whatever. It depends on the market of what market decisions are there. And right now, and also now for there are doing some advanced analytics even for treatments and vaccine based on AI. Again, for the based on the tech solutions is again based on the business intelligence tools, and wherein AI is used for inventing, for finding out the vaccines and doing the clinical trials. So you have varied business cases which you see live these days, and this is not going to stop in the near future. And there's a lot of data science and mathematics and statistics involved, and there is things are happening around the globe to add value to it. So that is how. And the last thing what you see is the architecture out of it, and how even the cloud is enabled for all the business tools. So business intelligence tools. So in a nutshell, BI is becoming one of the technological impact for a lot of business decisions. So if you have questions, please tell me, and I conclude my sessions, and thank you for being patient to listen to this session again. Thank you.
Sir?
Thank you so much, sir, for an enlightening session on business intelligence and its impact on the management. Now, request the participants to give their queries.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Sure.
Sir, whether the power of BI is a tool, what purpose is mainly used? I don't know.
No, Power BI, sir, like you can download it to Power BI, like it's like Tableau, because I see always, like when you're comparing apples to apples or comparing oranges to oranges, I always give you a lot of examples, because you would say that, again, Tableau is also a commercial product, Power BI is also a commercial product. But what happens is Power BI is a part of Microsoft, which they had been into the industry for a long time, and they can connect to the Microsoft SQL Server in a much more easy, efficient manner, and they will be able to derive insights of it. Like it is Tableau and Power BI for me is the same. It is only the companies differ the way, and Power BI is a bit more difficult to learn, but rather Tableau is easy to learn. That is the biggest difference, I would say.
Any other questions from the participants?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I want to know about data analysis in the field of business intelligence, and which tool is more beneficial for data analysis.
It depends on the size of business. For example, we are into the ICT, like in the we are into telecommunication software and networking business. We use Power BI and Tableau for generating reports on business sales and forecasting of our business sales, like with our balance sheets and the trial balances and all. So this we use for our own purpose based on the nature of the business. For I would say, like bigger businesses like Amazon and all, they have their own tools, because the amount of data they have is too huge, because we are talking about terabytes of data there. And for them, business analysis is a different method, because they are doing recommendations for you, actually recommendations in the sense like today when you get into Amazon or Flipkart, you search for something, and you didn't buy the product, and what they usually do is they pick up all the searches to imagine that you are trying to buy a shoe or a shirt. They will try to find what you searched, and then they will inform all the suppliers that there is a sudden increase in the search of shirts. Do you want to post a sale? Do you want to promote a sale? and once they promote a sale, then they'll push notifications for you saying that, okay, there is the shirt which you have tried, there is an offer for it, or there is a sale for it. So this is more of a business proposition which they do on a classifying and a recommendation algorithm on a daily basis based on a logs. So this is more of a business analysis, because your business doesn't stop there, because we are trying to upsell you something for some vegetables or something. You may think that, okay, the price, it is too pricey, so you not bought it, but tomorrow when you come, you would have seen that there is a discount for it, or there is a sale. And when they are declaring these big sales on August 15th or 1st of January, it is based on all the inputs, on all the searches you have done in a particular area you have done, for a particular product. So that what happens is, on the back end part, they recommend the they speak to the suppliers and vendors who displayed the product, because Amazon or Flipkart, they are just a shelf. They are just selling what their vendors or suppliers are giving. So they recommend to them that, okay, there will be an increase of 50% of your sales if you do a discount of 10%, a discount of 15%. So they recommend you, but how they decide it is, the business decision is based on the trials, the logs you have done by your searches from your app. So that is where the business analysis is used. So one, to know, you are controlling three people here, three elements. One, you are trying to please the customers by giving them a better discount. You are trying to please your vendors by giving them a better business. On top of that, again, Amazon or Flipkart tries to become more smart and saying that they are able to give you a better product in the timeline what you are searched for. So there are three values in few searches what you have done. See, I'm just taking a sample of one search what you have done, but when you look at the searches done over the globe it will be huge. So for that, you need a Python or R tool, which with the necessary algorithm of classifying or anything like that, then to give you a business decision. This is one example. Then, for example, if you go for Netflix or Amazon Prime, what they do is they take your preferences of what genre of movies you like, what language, whether it's based on the movie stars or based on the hits, or based on that, they try to push movies, recommend movies, songs, TV series or web series based on your history. So again, data analysis or recommendation is becoming a bigger milestone on deciding the customer's preferences. So these things again is happening on Netflix based on the recommendation algorithm. Then again, YouTube, you would have seen, like if you have gone for a different search, based on your searches, they try to populate what songs or what videos you like, so that you don't search, so you have a more easy clicks into the most trending videos. So these are things happening in the background as a recommendation. Again, it's a business decision, I know that.
Hello,
So
sir.
yeah,
Sir, I have doubt, sir.
tell me.
Sir, what are the tools? What are sample? Whether we can use sample data for business intelligence, or you want
Yes.
to take the raw data?
Yes. Like there are sample data. Like for example, I will show you a simple example which is easy to understand. 1 second. See, this is one of the best examples I always give to everyone on a simple supermarket. See, there is this supermarket. We have the sample data of the most of the items which are sold daily basis, and out of that, we have found which are the most popular items, the frequency of the most popular items, and the popular items, the first 15 choices, the second 15 choices. So this is actually the Kaggle is a competition site where we can always, everyone can participate in it, and even for just the fun of it, they give you sample data, and this is a basket analysis of a supermarket for 7,500 transactions of different customers buying different items from the stores. We have to find correlation between the different items in the stores so that we can know if a customer is buying apple, banana, and mango, what is the next item the customer would be interested in buying in the store. So this is a simple business intelligence equation. So we have a data set of a mall with 7,500 transactions of different customers buying different items from the store. We have to find correlations between the different items in the stores so that we can know if a customer is buying apple, banana, or mango, what is the next item the customer would be interested in buying from the store. So this is the data is available for the 7,500 transactions. Based on this, you can do whatever you want. And this is a simple visualization they have done, for example, of the most popular items, the frequency of the popular items, the tree of the popular items, the 15 choices which is done, the top 15 choices. So based on this, on what are the third choices? So based on this, you can easily do a matrix. So for example, if you buy eggs, the likelihood that I will buy milk or pancakes or olive oil is very likely. Or if I buy tomatoes, I will buy whole wheat pasta. If I buy green tea, I would also buy butter. So I could always recommend that this would be the mindset of the customer who is buying an apple or mango or a banana. So this is a simple example of an analysis of a business analysis with the BI tool. But this is done in Python, but this also could be done with Tableau because the data set is there. Thank you.
Sir?
Tell me.
So, Mr. Pandyavarthi has posted
Sorry?
Power DBI in DevOps operations.
Sorry.
She wants to know whether we can use Power BI in DevOps operations. Power BI in DevOps.
Oh, in DevOps, but no DevOps. What is the point in DevOps with the BI? Because this is more of a mature tool. But what we can do is, for example, for forecasting of the project, or when you're doing an agile or a lean integration of a development, you can only say that okay, there might be a delay, or you can forecast a project delivery delay on a delivery. You can do that, but that is more becoming more of an agile based. So I don't think we can use it, but I don't think a straight case is there on that. That's the only thing.
Is there any other questions from the participants?
Sir, which tool we should use, R or Python, for data analysis?
what kind of data you have with you?
Sir, more of a statical data. Sir, which programming we should use, R or Python in data analysis?
Python is become Python. I would prefer always Python, because if you are from the C background or anything like that, it is easy to learn that.
So I am not from the C background, sir.
Okay. R is, but Python because if you take a Jupyter notebook or the advantage is you can the Anaconda or Jupyter or
Sir,
Spider.
I am already doing R, but I want to know about the future, that which programming is more healthy.
No, see, if you are for me both are same. It is a matter of preferences. R can also integrate with a lot of algorithms, and Python can also integrate with a lot of algorithms. Or it is something, for example, what I recommend is if you are good in C or C++, their transition and transformation to Python is very easy. That is one thing. But if you are taking R as a new standalone tool, for me, I would say it's a good tool. I have personally I have not done much for R, but rather only Python.
And what about the SAS program, sir? SAS.
Yes, SAS. No, I have not done much. I have not done much.
Okay,
SAS, I
sir.
heard about it, but not done.
Okay,
I'm
sir.
more on from the Python background.
Okay, sir.
Any more questions from the participants? No. Okay, fine. Let's conclude then. So thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge on business intelligence.
Thank you, everyone.
Dear part, dear participants, feedback has been posted. Please fill them up within the next 15 minutes. Let us take a short break, and I request you to join for the next session on basic visual analytics by 11:35. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.